I got this compliment from a church member 6 or 8 months ago, and she doesn't know that it was like the greatest thing she ever said. She said, "I sense in your preaching lately that you've gotten rid of every ounce of self-preservation." And we'd never talked about it. And she's like 65 years old. She's in here once every 2 weeks. I love her to death. One of those safe people that you can just kind of walk with. And I was like, we never had this conversation, but she saw something, and she didn't know. I was like, that's what I'm aiming for, because I think, and I don't know if this is true, so stream of consciousness. I think self-preservation requires self-devastation. That you have to kind of,
Devastation and deprecation. Would you say both?
yeah, you have
Yeah.
to
Okay.
destroy yourself in order to preserve yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not living authentically, you have to kill the real you in order to be the you want people to see. And
Hmm.
so that was like I'm trying to hold on to. I was like, I don't know what I did or how it's going, but whatever was happening that she said that, like I got to hold on to that, because that's what I'm aiming for. Is you know, hold it all loosely. I don't know.
So if she saw a shift, was that shocking to you that she saw a shift? Did you think, like, how did you ever see that that was not the real me in the first place?
Yeah, that's the bummer. So the compliment felt good. The bummer was having to recognize that maybe for 5 years I was preserving. So I was in year six of my time here, and it's kind of a continuum. So I tell you the story that I was somebody, and it was kind of mostly me, but I was, you know, fake it till you make it in some way at the old church. And so when I get to change, I get to reinvent or be fully who I am. And I got the best advice ever: get fired in the interview, because I asked a friend who was at Mars Hill, R.I.P. Mars Hill, and I said, how much do I say? What do I hold back? And he goes, dude, just get fired in the interview. Don't move across the country to be somebody to have them find out you're not who you said you were.
Yeah, good
And
advice.
I was like, that's fantastic. So I did that, and I was able to show up fully me, I thought. And then 6 years in, somebody goes, you know what? I feel like you're actually fully you now. So then I have to do the back work of going, well, I wonder how much I was holding back to make sure I was fully acceptable, to make sure I was loved, to make sure I was worthy of, or I was secure. And now that I'm secure and I know that this is the place, okay, now I'll give you the last 10%. It's always that last 10% that gets us.
I wonder, though, if that last 10%, if everyone appreciates that, or people all of a sudden are deflated or disillusioned, like, oh, I thought Kyle was maybe more here and more spiritual, and I don't like seeing the last 10%.
I've gotten more emails in the last 9 months since she said it of people saying, we're sorry we have to leave the church because you said this or you were honest about that. So that happens. Like, that's real.
Yeah, I'm dealing with an email that I got. I was in Peru a week ago, and I got an email who someone who wanted to question something that I had said from the pulpit, and I wrote back to them just on a quick. I said, I'll meet with you when I get home sometime.
Hmm.
It's not a priority for me, to be honest, because I'm happy to receive critique. I don't say that like because people are listening. I really am happy to receive critique. I've always been pretty good at receiving critique, not because I don't get defensive. I still get defensive on critique, but I know that after confrontation comes resolution, resurrection. Can't have one without the other. But I just said, could you please take what I said in context of what you've heard me say for 2 years? You know, that you
Yeah.
didn't like judge my theology and my personality based upon one soundbite in one 25-minute sermon.
Right.
But I think that it was off putting. And it's because I was just honest about some doubts. I shared my doubts. And
Mm.
I watched a TikTok video this morning. I never watched TikTok. I'm starting to watch TikTok because the people I work with said I've got to start doing TikTok, which makes my sphincter slam shut just a little bit because I there's nothing about that I really enjoy. Social media in general, I use it, but I really kind of despise it. And it was the same thing. There was a person out there criticizing a very well-known national pastor because of one thing they had said. And now they weren't just criticizing them, they were taking it to the masses.
Mm.
And I think that's what we fear. I think that's why we struggle. One of the reasons why we struggle with being our authentic, true self and exposing ourselves or getting naked and vulnerable with people is we fear the backlash of that. It can cost us a lot, everything in some situations.